it's like having this merry-go-round of people that are just entering and leaving your life that could potentially be your new stepmom or stepdad.
So hard, because if you were like a gay boy in Lithuania in 2012, you would be like bullied in the corner. Like, it's just the way it is. And
I remember playing The Sims a lot.
Yes, I still have it. I
have a confession to make.
Ooh.
I never played Sims.
What?
Well, it was like, okay, go. Are you ready? And it would just like drop me in the water. And I was like, there's literally nothing you can do. I mean, it wasn't that you couldn't like reach, the bottom, but it was like,
Your dad was just like, sink or swim, bitch.
it's just that, you throw all the fat kids into one summer camp and watch them fucking suffer. And you have to pay for it as well.
I can't believe they sent you to a fat camp. That's awful.
Hello everyone, this is Pursued by Dragon, and this is episode 4 of our podcast. So today we have me, Ieva, marketing assistant and performer. We have Joshua Wainwright, lighting designer and performer, and we have Kelly Horn, our movement director. And today we are, let's be honest, we tried to record this yesterday and cut halfway, so that's gone. So today we're kind of drifting back to childhood. We'll cover some topics about like childhood, and maybe we'll talk a bit about quarantine, how we're doing, and also it's now. When this podcast is gonna be out, it's not gonna be Mental Health Awareness Week anymore. But I believe that Mental Health Awareness Week should be every week. So maybe we can talk a little bit about mental health as well in quarantine, especially. So anyone wants to start on their childhood? Mine wasn't great. It was mostly good, but it wasn't like a dream, like no double bedroom and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I had a very squishy. Squishy is a weird adjective. Why was that my first choice?
What do you mean by squishy, though?
Basically, our house is very full. I am one of 5. So I have 1 full brother, 1 half brother, and 2 half sisters. And at one point, me, my 4 siblings, and my parents were living in a 3-bedroom house.
Wait, I'm gonna tell you after you finish. I'm gonna tell you how we
so that was an interesting thing. Me and my like full blood brother, my younger brother, we both shared a room. We had like a bunk bed, and I think my sister had like a blow up bed on the floor for some of it. Like, my sister was pretty eager to move out, understandably. So I think she moved out when she was like, I think it was at 18 or 16, I can't remember, but she moved out really, really early. But like, I remember the first couple years of my life somehow, just being like, everyone was all compact into these 3 tiny rooms. Like, my room I'm in now in London was probably the size of my mum's bedroom, and I thought that was quite big at the time. And then the other 2 rooms, which had 5 kids in, were probably about half the size of like my room in London now. So it was ridiculous to like fit 3 beds, 3 sets of this, and then another 2 in another room that was basically like a tiny square box room for 2 people to sleep in. So it was a bit mental trying to fit everything in.
Yeah, it's you wanna hear how we lived?
Tell me how they live in Lithuania.
So it wasn't like a negative experience, I wouldn't say. It was very much there was that, like family feeling, because it was 3-bedroom flat, our grandparents' bedroom, living room, and children's room. But it was 11 of us living in 3-bedroom flat. Because it was, and basically like eliminate our grandparents' bedroom, because it was just for 2 of them. So it was 2 of them there, and then the rest, like 9 of us in those other 2 rooms. So people were sleeping on the sofa, people were sleeping on the floor, no one, because I mean, some people were living in other flats before, but then, things happen, you like lose money, or they, because I think my uncle and his wife and my cousin, they were renting a flat, and then basically a landlady came back and she was like, okay guys, you need to go, and then they didn't have anywhere to go, so we had to accept them into our flat. And me, my dad, and my mom, we were living in 1-bedroom flat beforehand, but then because my dad wanted to pursue like artist's career, he needed money for like I don't remember how it's called, the thing where you put the canvas on this, like a stand,
like an easel,
something like that, yeah, and like brushes and stuff like that. So he needed money, so they had to like sell the flat, and then they didn't have enough money and just stuff like that, so we had to move into that flat as well. So it was 11 of us living in 3-bedroom flat. But I'm just surprised how I feel now when I live. So now I live by myself, but when I used to live with like 4 other people, if it was everyone in the kitchen at the same time cooking, I was like, oh my god, it's so crowded. But our kitchen back home was even smaller, and it was like 10 people inside that kitchen, and it didn't feel that weird. So yeah, it was weird when I think about it now, but at that time it was just, when you're a child, you're just like, okay, these are the circumstances, you're just glad to have a roof above your head, like at that point. So yeah.
And how long was it like that, like living with 11 people?
Maybe I'd say like good couple of years for sure. And then I think the first ones to move out was like my cousin's family, and then my parents broke up, so then my dad moved out, and yeah, so it was, and then people started, like kids were growing up, so they're like, moving out and stuff like that. So eventually it was just me, my aunt, and my grandmother. But yeah, it was well weird.
I hope your house wasn't as squishy, Kelly.
It wasn't even a house. Oh, sorry. No, mine was a flat. It wasn't even a house.
Oh my god.
Yeah, mine was like actually quite a quiet childhood, I think, because so it was just like me and my mum for a long time, up until the age of 9, when my mum met my stepdad. Huh?
You were stuck for a second, but then you
continued.
Sorry.
Also.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of quiet, really. And yeah, and then my stepdad moved in when, again, I think I was probably like 9. And then it was just the 3 of us, really. Yeah, and so it was strange, like, but I get what you mean, Eva, about then like when I like moved in with other people, and I remember sharing a house once with, how many was it? I think it might have been 7 other people, and we had the tiniest kitchen as well. So it was like, as soon as you get in, it was like rush to go and make dinner, or like get to the kitchen first. Otherwise, you'd be there until like 9 o'clock at night or something to make your dinner. But yeah, so mine was just kind of, but it goes back to like, that was like my normal. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly. At that time, it was like, it's just the way it is right now.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Now, like in London, it's just ridiculous when you live with other people, and it depends. Like if you're lucky, or you move in with someone or you think because sometimes you live with people and then I know these people, but then turns out in the long run that it's just no. But I was living with like my cousin and his boyfriend, and then another couple, and they were like, oh, let's make a schedule when people are taking a shower, or like when people are making dinner. And I was just like, I can't live by the schedule. I already have like my whole day schedule, and then I have to go home and stick to another schedule. Like, come on, we're at home, can we just not? It's so ridiculous, and that's it. So since then I was like, I'm moving, I'm gonna pay stupid amount of money for my rent, but I'm gonna live by myself. Like, it's just gonna be like that, and I don't have to, worry about stuff.
Like less stressful as well, I think, right? Yeah.
Does that mean like neither of you have siblings?
I don't.
Oh wow.
My stepdad has 3 kids,
Mm.
but they don't live with us or anything like that. So I don't really have like a close relationship with them. So yeah, but I'm my mum's only child, so
Yeah,
Wow.
I have such. I mean, when I was a child, I had such a difficult time to not. I mean, when my parents were like splitting up, I didn't find that like very sad, but rather the new people coming in, as like, oh, your dad started dating someone else, your mom started dating someone else, and you have such a hard time accepting these people. It's like, who are you? Like, get out of the house.
yeah.
Like at first,
Like,
because like now we get along very well with my mom's husband, but like when it was just the beginning, I was like, get the fuck out. No, I'm not having this. I don't want it. But yeah, now I'm just like, I realize how selfish I was, because I was, just like, you don't think about me. But now I'm like, okay, I was like selfish child.
I mean,
I
like,
think, yeah, I kind of relate because I remember at the time, especially like my teenage years, like
Yeah, when you're like 13,
Yeah.
15, it's the worst time, because
Yeah.
like everyone's an enemy. Like,
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I was just like, oh, go away, leave me alone. But
yeah.
now obviously I appreciate,
Yeah, then you realize, okay, it makes my mom happy, so whatever, don't mind.
exactly.
yeah. With my parents split up when I was about 7. So I was like quite conscious when I don't know when your lot's parents split.
6, I think I was 6.
Yeah.
I was like 2, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, really young.
Yeah, like when you have those like couple of years where both your parents like sort of calm down a bit and they're ready to start dating again, it's like having this merry-go-round of people that are just entering and leaving your life that could potentially be your new stepmom or stepdad, and it's a bit like you feel it's really mean and horrible, but you feel slightly obligated to like value them, like evaluate them as like a mother or a father figure to you, even
Yeah,
though
you
you have a
compare
mother and a father.
constantly. Like, I was
Yeah.
constantly comparing, this is, oh, this is like not like my dad or something like that. Like, but then when you think about it, it's not going to be the same person, because if it would be the same person, then it would be just another someone, like, where they're potentially going to break up in the future.
Yeah.
So I
Do you
was
have
like,
like sort of gut feelings about certain people that they've met before? Because I definitely have with one particular ex of one of my parents. It was just it was like he walked in the door and I was like, oh hi, and it's like, oh, I'm this person. I don't know, like outwardly name them. And I think it was his eyes that did it, because they were quite like bulbous things. They were they really stared into you, and I didn't like it. It wasn't just me that felt this; it was like my sisters and all this and the other. And I know my mom's gonna be watching this, and she's gonna be like, "Oh, you really want to talk about this, Josh, in front of everyone?"
are
But
you
like,
still bitter?
I mean, I haven't like specifically named anything, but she'll know what I'm on about if she watches this. But yeah, has that applied to anything that's happened to you too?
um Not necessarily, but like, I just really didn't like anyone at the very beginning. Like, I don't know why, but it was just something that, because then, oh, do we have to like move in all together now, and all these things. And I was kind of glad I don't have any siblings, because it would have made it even worse. Like, you have to like not only make sure you're okay, but then you have to make sure your brother or sister is okay too. So I was, I was kind of glad that, okay, I'm the only child, and it's just like, you just have to deal with me. But yeah, I think I was usually feeling like forgotten, that, oh, my parents are like chasing all these other people, but like, hello, I'm here, like take care of me. So it was a bit difficult, especially when, but I mean, I understand because my parents are a bit younger than usual, like the most of the people, like were they the same age as me. My parents are a bit younger than usual, and yeah, and I think it was kind of like a delayed thing where they were like, oh, we have a child, but we kind of want to carry on with our own lives. So what do we do? Like they didn't even have money to send me up to like kindergarten and stuff like that. So my grandmother was looking after me, and then when they sent me to primary school, which was 1 year earlier than you're originally supposed to go to primary school, so I was like 6, and I just turned 6, and they signed me up for this primary school because my dad was like, okay, you're not going to kindergarten, you're going to get like proper education straight away. And then they didn't consider that they didn't have money to buy me books and buy me, notebooks or like anything. So I was usually sitting at the back of a class like coloring, and I really struggled with maths and like couldn't learn how to read, and I was so behind, and I was like, why did you sign me up for this? But yeah, but then I was like, so that I was really struggling at the beginning, but then I think it was quite a like quick jump where I was like, okay, I learned how to read, and it was just like, but yeah, the beginning was very like it was a massive separation between like me and the rest of the class, just because like what am I going to school for if I don't even have any material to learn from? That was a bit shit. But I mean, they couldn't do any better at that time, so I'm like, yeah, okay. I mean, I'm grateful for that now, but from child's perspective, it's really scary.
I actually had a question, because I find that where I have like lacked in like a brother or sister relationship or connection, that I've found I have really close friends. So I didn't know if that was something that you have experienced as well, that the friends that you make or the people that you make, you keep them close to you.
Yeah, I mean, I have a cousins as well, so it was like when we were growing up like in the same flat, and they're older than me as well, so I always felt like, okay, I don't have actual siblings, but I have these cousins that they're like, it's kind of like the same thing. Josh wanted to say something.
I have siblings, so this question's a bit but like I know that if I didn't have any siblings, my family's quite like as a unit on both sides, both my mum's side and my dad's side. We're all quite cold, I guess. We don't like being all mushy with each other, like, oh, how you doing? Hugs, hugs, hugs. We're not like that. We're just quite like say things how they are and this, that, and the other. I know that when my dad's side gets particularly drunk, where we had this tradition where I went to my auntie's until she passed away. Every year, I had this like barbecue, and we just went there and it'd be like we'd stay there till like 1:30 in the morning or something. And my dad and his family and also my family as well, would like get drunk and stuff. And it was really cute to see them actually like properly being mushy with each other, because prior to that they're like, nah, don't do hugs, don't do any of that stuff. So I was like, then they were like getting emotional with each other near the end of the night. So it's really cute. Because I have a sibling though, I know that my experience will be slightly different to others on the basis that like I did have a certain level of responsibility to take care of my brother because he's blind. Like he has the same condition as my dad, which is optic atrophy. So his like optic nerves in the eyes don't function. So they're like, you know how a camera can go in and out of focus? Their eyes can't focus. They're stuck at a certain depth of field. So I had to make sure that my brother was like crossing the road safely and all this and the other. So I definitely felt like I had this sort of guardian role really young in my life as well, because he's only like 2 years-ish younger than me. So I guess like we did have like a normal brother relationship, we fought all the time and played with each other, the usual shtick, but like I did have this extra sort of role where I was like, okay, if we're going outside the house, then I need to make sure he knows where he's going. And if I'm like too busy to take him somewhere, then I need to make sure that he knows the directions to the place, to the dot, and I need to point out landmarks to him. Otherwise, he won't be able to know, and he'll get lost and he'll panic, because that's happened before. So that was
Is he
something.
still coming to London though? I mean, I know it's hard to plan right now, but I think he was applying to Middlesex as well, wasn't he?
He was, but this is a call-out video right now. But he didn't go to his exams, so he failed them.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and yeah, he was doing an apprenticeship in management instead. So he was doing okay for himself. He was getting up and going to work and stuff. But then like COVID happened, so they had to like put him out. So I don't know what's going on since then. I know the first time he tried to come to London, it was the most stressful thing because he's so laid back. He's horizontal. So like whenever something goes bad for him, it's like, oh, just what happens in it, and I'm like, you don't know where you're going, and you could just end up in like Yorkshire or something, and you'd be just like, yeah, it just happens. So when he came here down to London, he got the train from Chester to Euston, and then I gave him very specific instructions to get from the tube to Hendon Central, because I was like, I think I was in a rehearsal at the time. But he ended up in London Bridge.
Oh no.
And
he was okay.
Yeah, he didn't have any signal on his phone either. So he used like his actual sort of numbers to no, actually what happened? Oh, basically he got out the tube, wandered around a park for a bit asking for directions, but Londoners are Londoners, so they're not going to tell you anything. And somehow he managed to get hold of Dad, and then Dad called me, and then I was like, oh, what's he done now? And then I managed to get a hold of him, and he was like, yeah, I don't know where I am, and I have nothing to go off of because I can't see. So I had to like guess where he was in London Bridge, an area I'm not familiar with, in order for him to get all the way to Hendon Central. So instead of like me kind of like fannying about in the different stations trying to find him, he just called like one of the black cabs and got a taxi all the way to Hendon Central. And that was really expensive. Yeah. I'm glad I could afford it. But then what's even worse is that we went to a Spoons that night, and he left his stuff at mine, and that had all of his details for him to get into his hotel room. And it was like, no, just wait here, it'll be fine. And they were like, you need your shit, go back and get your shit. And he's like, for some reason, he just like has this thing where it's like, nah, it'll be fine, it'll be chill. And I'm like, why are you putting yourself through these risks for no reason? He's a very frustrating individual, but he can remain calm where I wouldn't. So
yeah, but that's kind of a good thing, isn't it? Yeah. Like if there's like a group of people, there always has to be someone who's like overly panicking, and then another person is like too laid back.
Yeah,
I usually try to stay in that middle where like it's reasoning, like, okay, don't panic, okay, let's panic now.
Yeah.
You always have that in like friendship groups as well, like especially like when you're planning like days out and things like that. I feel like I'm the kind of the person who it like stays in the middle, but if I need to be the person to like plan or organize something, then I'll do it. But I'm happy to let other people do that.
I'm usually on that organizing side where like I want to, but I have to admit that sometimes I take on certain responsibilities because I'm like, I know I'll do it better. Like, let me do it. Like, no, I can do it. Like, no, let me do it. It's like, unless someone wants to learn, but like sometimes it will be like that. We're like, I know if that person's gonna take on that task,
I know that there's certain responsibilities that terrify me, like being put in charge of children. Absolutely.
Oh no.
Quakes to my soul. I hate it.
Unless it's my cousin, unless it's my not cousin, my nephew. unless it's like someone from my family, it's fine. But if it will be 5 children from God knows where, then no way. And usually children don't really like me anyway.
Fair enough.
You know why? Yeah, but like it's like you're trying to approach a baby and they're just like, they look so scared.
They just
And
sense
some
your
people,
weakness. They're like, don't like it.
it's like with animals, you know, but some people tend to just like be so good with children.
Mm.
But if you're like a young adult, I feel like it's quite, nah, like children don't like that.
Yeah, like I had a show I was helping out with when I was about 16-ish. This is wasn't the story I told yesterday that got cut off, by the way. This is a different one. Basically, they had like a different show. It was like this sort of mishmash of different fairy tales. Go figure. And basically, I had to like make sure that the kids weren't being too loud backstage because kids yap and are on the phones and all this, that, and the other. And I feel like they could just sense that I had like no authoritative control over them just because like I'm a bit older than them, and this sort of camp guy that's going like, no, don't do that. It's not going to make them stop. It's just, I just feel a bit pathetic because it's just this like little camp 16-year-old trying to calm down a load of 8-year-olds that are just ready to go on stage. So it's very hard when you don't have that natural.
Yeah, and it's getting worse with like every year because children get like this attitude so early that it's mad. Like we were talking about just like children's behavior in general the other day, and you know how now if you take your child to a restaurant, you're like, oh, you know, have whatever you want, and like if you don't like it, we're gonna fight your waiter and send it back and ask for a new thing because you didn't like it. And I remember when I was growing up, whatever was put on the table, you ate it or you went to bed. It wasn't like, you know, gluten free, dairy free, this is you know, vegetarian. No, it's, you know, the porridge is on the table, you eat it or you go to bed. Like that's it.
Sounds a lot like my mom. She just like, eat that or you go into bed without any food. And I'm like, okay, cool, thanks, mom. I hate beetroot, but you just need to pay for beetroot, so that's fun.
Yeah, now I feel like we're like getting so spoiled with like a variety of everything, and just feeling like I've you know, I am entitled. So, and that like that really shows on like children as well. I don't know which generation are we? We're generation.
I'm Generation Z. I don't know about Kelly.
I'm
You're a bit older.
Oh, what am I?
You're a millennial then.
I'm millennial. Yeah.
So I think I found out the other day that I'm not a millennial. I am like above, like a newer generation.
Yeah, Z.
But I don't know how it's called. How's it called? Z. Okay. Generation Z. And then the next generation is, so this is like from 1990s to 2000s, right?
It's like 1996 to 2007, I think.
Okay. And then the next one is gonna be Generation Y.
I think that was like the generation. I think that's millennials actually, because it goes X, Y, Z. My dad's Generation X, Kelly's Generation Y, or millennials, and we're Generation Z.
Oh, right.
You know, I for some reason know way too much about this. I like reading up on it.
You know, it's really strange to me. Like people who were born like in 2000s, who are now like 20. I'm like, what? What is this?
But I feel like I'm very like I was born in 1998, but I feel that those few years, where it's like 1998 and 2000, I feel like I can feel it. I can feel that difference for some reason. I don't know why. Because I remember I was like 18 or 17, and when I was living back in Lithuania, and you would see like 14-year-old girls with like iced coffee and a handbag and like makeup, and I was like, no. And I when I was 14, I was like still in like a sandbox or something, and it just seems so weird, and I just wonder if it's gonna carry on because it's quite scary.
I remember like when girls had PE on those kind of day on whenever they had PE, and they were carrying around those Abercrombie and Fitch bags with like the shirtless men on it, and as like a confused 13-year-old, that wasn't fun for me. Like they got all these fancy brands and all this that, and the other, and then there was just this really attractive shirtless man on the front. I'm like, what's this? Oh, this makes me feel a certain way. Um, Obviously, if I had that in the PE changing rooms as a 13-year-old, the guys would look at me a bit weirdly at that point, because I feel like I got quite lucky in that, like, being gay was like really majorly accepted as I got into like being 15, 16 kind of that area. Um, it was really, really like coming into its own in terms of gay rights and stuff. Because obviously, I think it's 2013, the gay marriage was legalized in the UK. And I remember that quite clearly, actually, and having a bit of a debate with not with my dad because he was against it, but like just a debate in general, just about gay rights when I wasn't out, but I knew that how I felt. So that was a weird discussion to have. Anyway, Abercrombie and Fitch bags were terrifying. That's where I was going with that.
I just wanted to ask a question, as in he was against like gay marriage.
Oh no, my dad like was for gay marriage even like in the 80s.
Right.
So
Okay.
he was a long time activist kind of person. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't
he's a
even
good one.
understand. Yeah, I don't even understand that separation between gay rights and human rights. It should just be the same rights.
Yeah.
Mm.
Agreed.
I mean,
So yeah, I don't get it, and it's so hard because if you were like a gay boy in Lithuania in 2012, you would be like bullied in the corner. Like it's just the way it is, and like no one is. The thing is, in Lithuania, right? We were expecting that like that Soviet hangover is gonna like disappear, and that generation is just gonna like, like a snake has that like it sheds it. Is it called sheds its
sheds its
skin?
skin, yeah.
Yeah, every year we thought that, okay, like years after years, maybe a couple more years, these like all these people who went through like all that like Soviet rules, they're gonna like die out, and then we're gonna have a normal society. But this seems to be like passed on other generations, so we're still not okay. We're getting that, but someone puts a rainbow on like a rainbow flag on their balcony, because I think it was a couple of days ago, I think it was like international day of like LGBTQ, and it was, I don't know if it was worldwide, but I know that people in Lithuania did like rainbow flags on balcony and stuff, and straight away give rainbow back to children and stuff like that, and throwing eggs on windows and stuff like that. So it's like really scary. Like when people ask me, would you should I go visit Lithuania, I'm like, if you're not white and not straight, like think about it, or just go to the capital. Otherwise I cannot, like, I don't say, yeah, go, Lithuania is very nice, like, environment is nice, but I'm a bit scared of, you could just like be beaten up for just not being another white straight person. So it's a bit, I mean, we're getting better, but we still have a long way to go. So that's a
Kelly,
bit disappointing.
do you remember in like the sort of early-ish 2000s, like this is when I was in primary school, that everyone just had that phase was like, oh, everything's gay. It's like, oh, that's well gay. That
Everyone said that in school.
yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why I was like a bit scared coming out, because like that was the kind of the last sort of hurdle we kind of had to get over before it kind of got accepted. I just remember being in primary school, like there was this one particular kid who's since come out now. They were like really staunchly defending themselves. It's like, I'm not gay, I'm not gay, da, da, da. He was a little bit camp, not gonna lie. But like, I just remember that sort of stigma, like, ooh, gay's a bad word. I don't want to be that thing that everyone's saying, oh, that's gay, because they used it in a pejorative way. So it's something that I was quite afraid of.
I think it's also the difference, like in generation. Like, 'cause I know that my grandparents, for example, they, let's say, they just have their views, right, and they have their opinions, and which I don't really agree with, but it just goes to show that it is like like back in their day, it was a thing that it was like man and wife, and then like the housewife, and the man goes out to work and provides for his family, whereas obviously like my generation is completely different. Yeah, so I think it is a case of that difference in generation, and that people are still going to have opinions no matter what. But if they're negative opinions, fuck them. I'm just saying, cool, but
I think my grandmother is very funny in that sense, where she's like, she's not against, but she's not for as well. She's like, if you love each other, it's fine. You just let them do whatever they want to do. And I love this like chill attitude. It was like, it's not my place to say. If you love each other, then it's okay. So I love that.
I remember like one Christmas where I went to see my relatives on my mum's side, and my mum's side is massive. I have not met all my cousins for sure. My mum was one of 7, and they all had kids.
Oh.
Like one of them had 7, my mum had 5. It was like 3s, 4s, 5s, or 6s. It was never just like one between one of them. So I just remember that it was like the year I came out, or the year after, or the year I came out. I'm not sure which one. And they were like, "Oh, Josh, you got a girlfriend?" And I'm like, no. I wasn't quite comfortable saying that yet, because even though I, came out, and my mum probably told like my family relatives that like, "Oh, Josh is gay. Did you know?" And then I found out that one of my cousins was a lesbian as well. So I knew it's from there. It was like, oh, it seems to be fine then, because no one seems to be outraged by it. I think the only weirdo of the family is, if you've been following my Twitter semi recently, is one of my uncles who has very interesting. Yeah, that one. But other than that, it's nothing like outrageous. It's just a bit interesting to see what opinions he has.
Yeah. I hate that, and it's like you cannot. You don't want to be rude to your family as well, where you're like, this is bullshit. Like, just don't read these articles and stuff like that. But it's propaganda. But COVID-19, they just wanna chip us all, and we all get cancer and stuff like that. And I actually read an article. They were saying the same thing about 4G, 3G, 2G. And like anything you don't know, you're like, it's the government, and they want to keep us all and they want to track us. And I'm like, where are you going that's like so important, or like so secret, that you don't want anyone to know? Like, and I understand when you're older and you just discovered internet and you have all these articles, what do you believe in? It's like you can, eat I don't know, eat 1 apple a day, and something's gonna happen to your body or whatever.
I do have like a question. You just mentioned like, oh, internet. Wow, the first time we did that. I remember my first internet experience, and I'm probably going to ask your two's first internet experience. Like, I was really young because I was really big on video games when I was a kid. I remember getting my first PC when I was also about 7, to be honest. And I just remember basically one of the first things I did was just put a load of viruses on my computer because I didn't realize they were viruses.
An iPhone 10.
Like, I had this lovely little compact PC, and I was like obsessed with these new little, the mouse icon that you see on the screen. You could get like customizable ones of them, and I was just going a bit crazy. with like the rainbow ones with sparkles on it. I was definitely not gay as a kid at all. Was playing around with those, and I didn't realize that there was loads of viruses on them and things like that. So I kind of quickly learned about that when my dad was like, "Why are there so many viruses on this computer?" I was like, "I don't know. I was just getting curses." So that was my first thing. I also remember the Windows XP background. And
I
all
was 13, I think, when we got a computer, and the internet at the same time. So it was like, I mean, no, we got a computer before, but I could only use Paint, like the app, because my dad was doing my dad was doing work on that computer, and I could just like, he would just let me use Paint or play something with like cars for like an hour or so. But then when we got our first computer, I think definitely the first thing I was checking was YouTube, I think,
oh god, all this.
because there were all the music videos, and I was the biggest fan of Shakira. So I was watching all the like live shows and stuff like that. It was amazing. It was like, dream come true.
I'm just going to quickly I'm just going to really quickly mention one program because you mentioned Paint. There was this one called Dazzle, and it was like this art program, and it like
With the penguin.
I think it might have been the Penguin. I'm not sure.
You
But
could
like,
do like a rainbow thing, and then
yeah, it had like all these arty options, and it was really cool.
yeah, and then it would make
accessible.
sound. It would make a sound as well as you're drawing, and yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Stickers.
Maybe. I don't remember the full capacities of it. I just remember being obsessed with Dazzle when I was like, right, ICT lesson, go draw an apple for an hour on the computer or something, and I was obsessed. Sorry, go on, Kelly. You're about to say something, and I was like, Dazzle!
I'm like, I don't know what this is. Does anyone remember MSN?
Yes, my brother was on it a lot.
Is it like a messenger?
Yeah, I think it might have been like the very first. Actually, I don't think it was social media, but it was like a messaging thing where you add like your friends and then you just like message, or you can do like the webcam. But our computer was so old because it was like one of the really old PCs with like the screen and then the keyboard separate, that we didn't have a webcam. So it's like anytime like me and my friends wanted to like do something like this, I'd be like, sorry guys, I don't have a webcam, but I can like write. But saying that, they actually in school, they made us like work on computers, but like really young. So I think probably around the age of, I don't know, maybe 8 or something like that. The like computers that then like were brought into schools, and then we would do like 1 hour per week or something like that, just to like get used to it. Whereas now obviously like that is a completely different case, because every school has like iPads, and like even children at home, they have their iPads, and like they know how to work like an iPhone and stuff. So it's kind of scary going from that to how technology is now, and especially children. That's so scary. Like my stepdad has 2 grandkids, who one is, I think he's 3, and then the other one is 7, and it's like the 3-year-old knows how to work this iPad, and it's like, oh my god, it's so scary, I think, anyway.
I think I was like one of the first kids that were like that, because my dad is quite tech savvy, so he liked building his own PCs and things like that. I was playing Grand Theft Auto when I was 3 years old, like the first one.
God.
And I was sat on my little like, I had this tiny rocking chair that was made out of like sort of straw or something, and I was just sat in my underwear as 3-year-olds do, just playing Grand Theft Auto, shooting up entire places with apparently no long-lasting effects that were negative to me. I'm not a psychopath as far as I'm aware. So.
Yeah, that's why they said, didn't they? Like that. Oh, if you let young children play these like games where you like shoot people and rob places and stuff like that. Because I was playing a lot of GTA as well as a child. Like mad, loved it. Would still play, but they would say, oh, they're gonna grow it up into like murders and stuff like that, and it's not good for your like psychology. I mean, as far as I'm aware, I haven't killed anyone, so
As far as you're aware.
it must be wrong. I don't know. But yeah, I'm actually quite glad. Like, we had these IT lessons at school, and I actually learned like a lot how to use like Word and like Excel, and stuff like that. So it was like, I loved it. There were some programs that were like absolutely useless, but
I
I
remember playing The Sims a lot.
yes,
Kid.
I still have it. I still have it.
I have a confession to make.
Ooh.
I never played Sims.
What?
No way. You must.
Ever. I never played it.
Oh,
I know. I was a strange child.
yeah,
I
but
was like,
it's the best for you because like you waste your time like.
you do. I was like doing secret deals with my best friend like when I was 8. Like we collectively between the two of us had every single Sims 2 expansion pack. And if you know how many there are, that is a lot. I'm not like probably going on 20 odd expansion packs. That's a lot of money. And we'd be like secretly in the cloakroom, like quickly sort of exchanging the games with each other. And
You
if she
actually bought them.
Hmm?
You actually bought them.
That's right, I was a good child. I didn't pirate everything yet. So
No, I did. I mean, even the one I have now is not very legal. But I mean, I'm paying that kind of money for a video game. And I also don't have a CD thing, so
you don't have a CD drive?
no, I don't. On MacBook Air, you don't have that, and I don't
Oh,
think
I
you
didn't know
have it
that.
on any of the MacBooks. So I actually don't know how you're supposed to do that if you have a CD.
It's weird
Like,
how CDs have just died. Like,
yeah,
And DVDs as well.
yeah. When you have when I remember, like back in 2005, we had these like how do you call it? Like floppy
floppy
disks?
disks.
Yeah, that was dying at that time already. Like they were, not no one was using them anymore, and then it went to like CDs, and now it's like USB stick, and we'll see where we go from there.
I think all of it's just on like online on a cloud now, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say like Google Docs and like OneDrive and
Yeah.
iCloud. Yeah.
And government is following us and checking every. I mean, if they're checking my Google Drive, they'll be very disappointed.
Yeah.
I must say, it's really boring. It's just a lot of paperwork and like rehearsal pictures that like half of them are blurry, but just for the sake of it.
My hip just clicked. I'm sat, just for those that don't know, I'm sat on a yoga mat, so that's fun. And I've just been kind of like trying to get comfortable the whole time. My hips just clicked really loudly. I remember my friend bringing in like a CD player, like a portable one. It was like hot pink, and we'd be listening to Fergie on the bus to a school trip or something like that. Oh, that's
Did
great.
you play Sega as well?
Yeah, this Sega. It's not a CD drive; it's a Mega Drive.
Where you plug it in into just like TV screen, and then you can play like you can have like guns attached as well, and you can like shoot plates and that.
Don't know what you were doing, but it wasn't quite what I had.
But it was like a lot of like borrowing from each other, like, oh, someone has a cool game, then you like borrow it, then play for a bit, give it back. It's like some kind of trade going on.
No, I don't think I had that. I just had like the normal Mega Drive that I just had the controller, the little box that had like the actual, the actual console. There we go. And then you had like the cables up to the TV, which annoyed the hell out of my mum because I always wanted to use the big TV downstairs. Just because like, oh, I don't want to use it because James is on the Xbox, so I need to play it downstairs. And mum was like, I want to watch Corrie. So that's that.
I used to be obsessed. There was like the Cars game. You get the Cars game like the arcade or like the
Yeah.
Well, it used to be.
You get a wheel.
Yeah, and I had that, and we got like an Xbox, and that was the only game that I ever played on it. And we literally just had the wheel, and every day I'm just like this. Yeah, so that was the only game that I actually played on the Xbox. And then we got the Wii. Did anyone get a Wii?
I think a lot of people got a Wii. Yeah.
Yeah, tennis, all of that. It was great. I loved it.
Someone from my friends had it, and then we played Just Dance.
Oh,
Is it Just Dance? I
yeah.
think it's called Just Dance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing game.
There's 2 types of players with it. It's like one that does it properly, like they're doing the whole moves and everything. And there's one that's just like, because they know that's how it works. What were you saying, Kelly?
No, I was just going to say, I remember in secondary school, probably like year 10, the school actually bought dance mats. And so sometimes for our PE lessons, we would do like Just Dance and have like these dance mat competitions.
I wish I had that.
Yeah. I know, but it was only for like a couple of weeks, I think, and then they took them away from us. So
that's a shame.
Yeah,
we separate like smaller space in a basement where we used to do, because we had 2 PE lessons every week, so twice a week, and then 1 week we would do upstairs in a basketball field or outside, and then the other week we would do downstairs in the basement, do like aerobics and kind of stuff. Yeah.
As a kid, my PE lessons were really boring. You're fine, Kelly, don't worry. You've had
Sorry, I thought the thing froze again. I was like, no, please tell me no. It's not happening again. Sorry, carry on.
PE for me was not a great experience. I wasn't sports interested. I was a shit swimmer, I'll tell you that much. I kind of can't swim now. I can float, but I'm not like confident. I couldn't like just be dropped in the sea and be like, okay, survive. I'd be like, no, I will drown.
That's how my dad told me how to swim.
Oh.
Yeah, he literally just was like, okay, go. Are you ready? And it would just like drop me in the water. And I was like, there's literally nothing you can do. I mean, it wasn't that you couldn't like reach, the bottom, but it was like,
your dad was just like, sink or swim, bitch.
Yeah, are you ready? Okay, I'm just gonna throw you in the water now. And I'm like, no, please. It's like, okay, off you go.
So
it was like with the primary school. Is that, you ready? No, I don't even have books. And okay, off you go.
I feel like Kelly was like the one that got her 100-meter swimming badge and was like, I got this.
I was a swimmer when I was a kid.
Did you have pools? Did you have pools in actual school?
Only, so when I was at school, we had like the 3-tier system, which was lower school, middle school, upper school. My lower school had a swimming pool, and that was like the only school that did.
Oh.
But so I had to. So my mum works at the leisure centre, like a local leisure centre, and so I'd have swimming lessons there. And then I probably stopped when I was about like 12, I think. And yeah, Josh, I'm the same as you. Like I kind of like wasn't the best at PE in school, but coming out of that, like now as an adult, I'm probably more like physically active than I ever have been. Yeah. And I think you kind of appreciate it more as you get older, whereas back then I was just like, oh, I don't want to do it, being that moody teenager.
Yeah, I really hated because we had these like little tasks. So like, okay, run 100 meters in like 8 seconds or that kind of stuff. And then basically if you run it in 8 seconds, then you get a first. Then if you do like less, then your grade goes lower. But I'm good at like duration. So if we have to run 12 circles in the stadium, then I'm good. I'll do that, and I know I'll get it fast. But when it comes to speed or like length, because we had it, jump from the spot, and we would have to jump like meter 80, and I'm 157, so I'm like, I need to jump like more than my actual height is, and I was just like so stressed, and I was so terrible at everything that had to do with like speed and like distance, is it like just from like a space. But I was very good at throwing a tennis ball and just like running if it was just like, okay, just a slow one, then yeah. but it took me so long to get to like exercising because I was very fat as a kid, and then I had to spend 2 years at like summer camps for like fat kids.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, and it was so annoying because we had to eat food that wasn't like seasoned at all. Like you would get like boiled potatoes, boiled chicken, and salad, but nothing was flavored, like no salt, no pepper, nothing. And it was just, so bad. I made a lot of good friends, but it's just that, you throw all the fat kids into one summer camp and watch them fucking suffer. And you have to pay for it as well.
I can't believe they sent you to a fat camp. That's awful.
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't want to go, but it was at that point where I had to start losing weight, and it wasn't possible to do so without like guidance, because I was like 13 years old, and it took me 2 years to go from 80 kilos to 50. So I was like, and I needed professional help because otherwise I was about to get like diabetes and stuff like that. So it was, very risky. So they had to do it. And then I was kind of like getting used to it. It's very, what I find with like exercising in general, like the less fit you are, the less you want to exercise. The more fit the more fit you start getting, then you're like, okay, I'm already fit, so I want to do more. But like at the beginning where you're not fit at all, it's where that like all the pain lies. Like it's just a bunch of pain there.
Actually, I wanted to say something. I was actually I was actually speaking to Pedro earlier, and I was about to go on a run, and I was saying to him, because I've now reached a point where I can run 25 minutes without stopping, and because I'm training to do a 5K, and I remember saying to him, for me, running and I guess exercise in general, it's actually a mental it what's the word, it kind of works on your mental endurance as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like for example, for me, like when I went on my run today, I reach a certain point where I think I cannot do it, and it's not my body saying that, it's it's my brain saying you can't do it. Like your muscles are like, my calves were aching and like I was a little bit out of breath, but I knew deep down I could still keep going, but my mind was saying you can't do it, why don't you just give up. And then at that point I was just like, no, this is where you need to keep going. And then I get past that point and I get to the end of the 25 minutes and I'm like, oh my god, like I'm so much stronger than what I think I am. So it was just going back to like, obviously it's mental health awareness week, and I just wanted to point that out, because sometimes it isn't just like the physical well-being with exercise and things like that, it's also your mental.
I very much agree, because because I go running sometimes as well, and there's that point where it's like a breaking point where like I'm about to stop now, I really can't do this anymore, and then like, but I'll just keep going, okay, just a bit more, and then you kind of like catch that second breath and you can go for I could keep going like forever, like when do I stop now? So there is that breaking point, but usually it comes like later and later and later if you do it like consistently. And Kelly does yoga every morning. Do you do it every morning?
I try to do it every morning. I've noticed, because I've been doing running and I've been doing bar, which is a great workout, but I feel because of that my muscles have like started to tense up, because if you think about it, in yoga you're like stretching the muscles. When I'm like building on like or like building muscle, I've found that I've been like getting really tense, so I try and stay with it every day, but there are some days where I'm like, oh, I don't think I should overstretch.
I'm sore. You sore today?
Yeah, but yeah, I try and do it every day.
It's really rapidly approaching the hour, believe it or not.
Yeah, we have like 4 minutes, don't we?
I think. Where did we start? Like, I think it was
10 past.
Okay. So find something to wrap up about. I think what we were talking about with like exercise, getting exercise during this time. I mean, who knows what we'll be in 2 weeks, but
how are you both doing? Like, because I know that we said that we may touch on like life in quarantine, but how are you both doing?
Depends. Like there are days where I feel that because I just developed this thing right now where I just like do every morning and every evening I write things that I'm grateful for and things that I'm still looking forward to. And it just made me, some days, it seems like nothing has happened, but like some days you just like write down like, okay, I'm just grateful that I woke up today under a roof, there's food in my fridge, that I managed to write a couple of sentences for my essay, and and then just write down, okay, maybe I should do a bit more exercise, maybe I should try to do something more creative than that. But there's no pressure, there's no way of saying like I'm gonna do it. Like I'll try to do it, but who knows if I'm gonna do it. But that, like, I think that helped me to realize how much is actually going on, instead of just like, okay, I'm just stuck in my flat and there's nothing I can do. But you're already doing so much, you're just breathing, you're just alive, so that's worth being grateful for. So just like these little things that help me to get like through it.
I have been doing yoga for probably about, I'd say I'm on about 25 days straight now, both
Nice.
evening and night.
Nice.
So I do it 10 minutes, like when I get up, I'll get out of bed, do it for 10 minutes. I'm doing this actually, like this 30-day challenge with this one yoga channel. If you search it up, you'll probably find it. I do those in the morning just because they're the more intense one, and obviously your body will be a bit more stiff in the morning. So it'd be nice. It's introducing me to a lot of like yoga poses and things like that. So when she says, okay, get into wide-legged child's pose, I'm like, okay, cool, know what that is, go straight into it. Whereas if I was just told that in like a warm-up led by Kelly or something, I'd be like, what's that? And then be like, oh, and then go back down into it. So once you know what things are, it's so much easier to relax because you're not worried about doing the pose right or anything like that. You're just doing it to the best of your ability, how much you want to stretch that day and things like that. The evening ones, I usually just go to like one of 3 videos just because like it's more about settling down, calming your mind, things like that, so you can go to bed rather than like stretching the fuck out of your hamstrings for some reason. So it's a nice like way to sort of break up my day as well. It's like, okay, I'm ready for bed, okay, I'm ready to start my day now once these things have happened. And it's given me a lot of motivation to like, keep my diet in check. Surprise, I'm eating a bit better than I usually do now.
I'm just gonna say that I was getting pissed off seeing Josh eating just cheese sandwiches and the chocolate. I was like, excuse me, nutrition calling, Josh, hello. It's not like, okay, it's once a week, we're in a rush, just grab a bar of chocolate. No, it's every single fucking day. And I was like, no, this is not good for you. I wasn't saying, and we were talking about this because I think I made a comment maybe 3 years ago. And Josh was like, oh, I don't remember if he said it, but like we established that he thought something, that it was, my intentions were not good. Like, oh, you shouldn't comment on what people eat, and that. But I was actually concerned. And then like 3 years later, Josh was like, what you said was actually true. Like I'm eating better now, and so yeah. But it was just very concerning to see. So I'm glad that's happening.
How about you, Kelly? How are you doing?
I feel okay. I feel like I've kind of got like a daily routine. Like I found this new normal that everyone's, talking about. So I'll make sure I get up early during the week, and on the weekends I'll allow myself to sleep in a little bit. And I'll get up, do some sort of workout, run, yoga, something like that, and then the past week I'd say I've been actually on my laptop like doing work, whereas before that it was just sort of like trying to find things to do, like reading, or trying to get a tan sit in the garden and get a tan. And actually, oh my god, okay, actually I want to say this really quickly. I'm livid because I used to play guitar when I was younger, and I still have my guitar, and at the weekend, I was like, I know, I'm gonna like relearn guitar. This is gonna be great. So I did that, and then yesterday I went to go pick up my guitar again and was tuning it, and the string fucking broke. And so I was like, I can't even do that. I can't pick it up. So
Can you like super glue it at?
I think I need to get it fixed, but obviously nowhere's open. So
I tried to learn one time, and I was like, learn 3 chords. I was like, no, this is not worth it. Fuck it. You don't have patience with these things. Like I can learn a movement sequence, but I cannot learn how to play guitar. It's just not for me.
yeah.
I
Shall we
thought
wrap it up?
me, I really wanted to do it, but then once I started doing it, I was like, no.
Shall we wrap it up?
Sorry, talking about the past, like always, sets me off.
Yeah, okay. So, this was this week's rather relaxed episode, our 4th podcast. We will hopefully have our guest next week, unless things happen. In that case, another week.
Yes.
She'll be there at a point.
Is it our Naoms? Is it our Naoms?
Yeah. So we're really looking forward to having her on. So tune in for the next episode every Tuesday. It's great. We talk about all sorts, not just theatre, as we've shown today. It can be anything.
Yeah. Also, I just wanted to say, if people watch this till the end, then you're gonna hear this. If not, then not. But you can leave comments under the video, and we can, if you have any questions or like topic suggestions, also can send us an email, visit our website, or just message us through Instagram if you have any questions, or to specific people or specific topic or anything like that. And yeah, that's it.
Like and subscribe.
I know that a lot of people actually did subscribe to our channel, so that's good.
Yeah. Okay, so we shall see you next Tuesday. See y'all.